David Azar here, founder and innovation manager for Adopt AI. This video is about giving you a quick snapshot of what's happening in the market at the moment and some key trends to look out for. Large Australian companies are committing to net zero emissions. This is great to see. Twiggy Forrest, Australia's richest man, recently announced his intentions to develop a global renewables business, calling hydrogen the next iron ore of the future. He said green energy gives Australia an opportunity to slash our emissions, and if we get this right, the impact could be nothing short of nation building. Whilst renewable energy has become the cheapest source of energy supply, traditional offshore consumers of coal assets, a top 10 industry by revenue for Australia, are rapidly changing their energy mix to move to cleaner and more efficient sources of energy, therefore disrupting our traditional coal revenue streams. The transition to green energy supply has serious momentum, and this is here to stay. On the demand side, there is plenty happening too. The framework that large corporates around the world are now leaning into is ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. These criteria are a set of standards for a company's operations that socially conscious investors use to screen potential investments. Demand to invest in funds which focus on ESG issues jumped in 2020, driving assets under management up 29% in the fourth quarter to nearly $1.7 trillion. This is according to Morningstar Industry Tracker. Environmental criteria consider how a company performs as a steward of nature. Much of this focuses around efficiency of demand, improved sustainability around consumption of energy. Social criteria examine how it manages relationships with employees, suppliers, customers, and the communities where it operates. And governance deals with a company's leadership, executive pay, and shareholder rights. So to satisfy this framework and the standards and frameworks that sit within them, particularly environment, are very much a focus for large organisations, because you will find once you start digging that most, if not all, have a significant carbon footprint, either scope 1, 2 or 3. Now scope refers to where that footprint lies within the business, either directly or indirectly, upstream or downstream. For instance, BHP's scope 3 emissions downstream are 37 times the size of scope 1 and 2 combined. This is massive. Whether they are ethical or not, the reason corporates are racing to comply with ESG standards is because this is driving capital flows. For global markets, equities and bonds, up to 40% of all investment was directed towards ESG in 2020. And this trend is accelerating. To satisfy the environment piece of ESG, the most obvious and easiest to promote by the marketing departments of big corporates is renewable power. That is solar, wind and storage. But not many are focused on promoting efficiency, the fastest and cheapest way to reduce consumption and improve sustainability. The reason is that it takes a bit more work. You need to change people's behaviour and tweak the process of how things are done. I think with the emergence of AI and machine learning in this space, it can make it easier for people to make the changes and get the desired results. As they say, data is the new oil, and utilising big data in the right way can bring perpetual value. Efficiency around the demand side and renewables on the supply side, accelerating together in parallel, will bring huge positive change in the next 5 years, and we could surprise ourselves with what can be achieved. As I've always said, Australia is in a great position to lead the world on this transition, and it looks like Twiggy Forrest agrees with me on this one.